Breaking news, guys. We have the official announcement for the release of Black Clover Mobile. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the game's performance overseas and whether or not you should be concerned about Black Clover Mobile. All right, guys, let's hop right in. So over on the official Twitter/X page for Black Clover Mobile, they did tease it yesterday that they would have a big announcement, and it does appear the big announcement is for the actual global release date of the game being the 30th of November. Hit that thumbs up if that information was helpful for you guys, bringing you guys that news. So I want to know in the comments down below, are you interested in this game? Are you going to give it a shot? Have you seen any gameplay content for it? Have you been looking forward to it? So let's go ahead and talk about, again, the performance of the game overseas and what you personally may want to be concerned about when you invest your time and potentially money into Black Clover M Rise of the Wizard King. So first thing I'll say is I got to beta test this game about a year ago, and I want to say that the game is actually really awesome. I enjoyed it a ton, and as you can see on the screen, we do have some visuals, so I'll let that play as we go and I talk about this stuff. I enjoyed the game a ton, and it was a really fun experience to play the game. Now, the game since then did get soft launched in other areas. I believe it's now out in Canada and Japan, things like that, and it hasn't made its way to the global market until, well, November 30th, but we hadn't had any announcement, any word on it. We were completely in the dark. Now, here's the deal. In this entire period of time, basically over the last 8 months or so that the game's been out in other parts of the world, the game has been floundering and been very unsuccessful. Black Clover as an IP is just the property of Black Clover, as an individual series, right? It's popular, it's successful, but it's not one of those ones that's like, you know, world renowned type deal, like a Dragon Ball would be, right? Nowhere near it. So Black Clover individually is the type of IP that I think really needed a global game from the jump. I don't know why they waited so long to release the global version of this game. Well, really, typically the reason why companies soft launch is so they can prepare the servers and not have everything go live everywhere at once and have everything just explode and they have no way to fix it. Also, what companies are liking to do is they like to put the game out in other markets to figure out the bugs and also build a backlog of characters. You ever notice when you log in for the first time, there's like dozens of SSRs or whatever? It's because the game's been in other regions, right? So when you first start up, these characters are there. They were once upon a time new a lot of the time. So anyway, there's a lot of reasons as to why, but I think Black Clover doing that for this game probably might have been the wrong decision. So like I said, the game has been floundering and been very unsuccessful. I'm talking about the revenue numbers from Sensor Tower were so horrifically bad that it leads to even questioning whether the game would even get the global release that they said they would be doing. Because if I'm being honest, if I was running this game with the revenue numbers they were putting out, I'm talking terrible revenue numbers. With the numbers they were putting out, where they were struggling to get thousands of dollars, yeah, thousands, I probably wouldn't have invested more resources into releasing it globally. I might have just cut my losses and called it a day. Now, that doesn't mean, just because we're getting the global release, that doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods. What's going to happen inevitably is the game is going to see a revenue increase. And understand this. You yourself may not be looking to invest any money in the game, but you can't ignore the revenue side of it because this is a live service game, and at the end of the day, all they're trying to do is make money. It doesn't matter. Every single live service game is the exact same. They're trying to find a way to make money, and they're also, by the way, by extension, trying to find a way to convert free players into paying players, whether that's $1, whatever it is. They want everybody to be paying players. That doesn't mean everybody will be, but at the end of the day, the end goal, as it should be really for any company, is to make money, so that's their goal. So anyway, that doesn't mean that Black Clover M for the global version is completely out of the woods though, because what's going to wind up happening is inevitably when the game releases to the global market on the 30th, and for about another month, probably around like a little bit after New Year's, maybe mid-January into February, the game's going to be super duper successful. They're going to see revenue peaks and all the way up to their highs and things like that. They're going to see download peaks, all that stuff, and the reason why is because people have been waiting, and it's anticipated. It's going to get top promotion on like the Play Store and stuff. It's going to be front page. You know, all the people that pre-registered. There's 5 million people that apparently pre-registered the game. I don't know how many of those players are still looking forward to it like 8 months later, a year later, but it is what it is. It's going to see success. It's going to. The tricky thing is, how does the game and how does the company behind the game maintain that success? That's the tricky thing. Because if the game continues to flounder about 6 months into this game, a year into this game, I can't see it lasting much longer. So if you are going to be somebody that invests money, and I definitely have no problem with that, spend your money how you see fit. Don't let anybody else talk down to you about it. It's a hobby, but at the end of the day, it's an expensive hobby if you're going to be investing money. And also, you're doing it with the thought process that anyway, eventually it's going to go away, because it's not like it's going to always be here. So that's the one tricky thing about it. But this game, the point is, this game could potentially go away sooner than later, right? The other Black Clover game that we got did not last at all. I think this game is significantly better from the ground up and more well designed than the other game was, but nonetheless, I'm not sure about Black Clover as an individual IP being able to sustain. Now, I don't know if there's any sort of anime that's coming back or tying in. I have watched the complete anime, so I know that the story's not done. But anyway, I don't know if they're bringing that back, but it was just kind of weird because I believe last year the movie came out for this, and that's when this was starting to pick up a lot of steam and get a lot of hype, and they're really behind the 8 ball, because a lot of times these gacha games, these mobile games based on anime IPs, like to try to release their game in conjunction with some sort of big visual celebration, whether that's a movie or whatever the case is, so they can double dip and take usage of that hype, right? Think of like with if you play Eminence of the Shadow, or if you're familiar with that series, that mobile game came out not too long ago, but they are just now getting the anime season 2 coming out, things like that, for the last couple of months. So they try to do that type of stuff. And also, if you think about, like I said, Dragon Ball earlier, every time there's a new movie, what do you see inside of the games? Instantly, you see the new characters, right? For the most part. Throwing a nod to Beast Gohan. Anyway, moving on. So that's just kind of what they like to do. I'm not so particularly sure about this game and as a whole. I think there's several questions surrounding this game, but at the end of the day, I don't want to say that or imply that to have that ruin your excitement or your feel for the game or your joy of the game, because I myself am excited about it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you guys to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I want you guys to stick around, because I am going to be doing more content on this game inevitably. I'm going to start up a JJK Phantom Parade, I believe it is called, separate channel for that one. But I am going to be doing a lot of gaming content for this one. I am going to be doing guides. I am going to be doing stuff like that. And the tricky thing about playing this game is, if you happen to have played it beforehand, obviously you know more about the game than other players did. And also, the game's out in other regions, like I mentioned earlier, but the way that I understand it is that those players, to our benefit as global players, are not going to be on our server. They're going to be completely server locked away from us. I don't know that you can even friend request or PvP those players, whatever the case is. So keep that in mind. But the tricky thing is that there are going to be a lot of characters that come out, so we're going to have to decipher and go through the pool of characters and see which ones are the best. And if you have played the game, if you have any tips for me that I can convey in further videos about best characters, etc., please let me know, because I beta tested the game, but it came out on, I think, Thanksgiving, like literally the day, and maybe it was Christmas. Either way, I was with my family, and I did not have the opportunity to really dive deep into it for that day, and then the day after, and then the beta test was like gone. So I played it for a little bit, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the turn-based combat. I wish more games try to be this type of style personally, as opposed to everything being an action RPG, But I'll see you all in the next one.